this one. Thank you all. I think there's 100 people connected, and we are really happy now to have you to present you the new Genymotion 2.5 release. In this release, we added a lot of features around testing and tools to help people build continuous integration platforms using Genymotion. The goal here is, as an emulator, we have a wonderful opportunity to help in automation, to help in injecting information right into the operating system, as it is completely emulated and we control it perfectly. It's really easy for us to add tools to simulate a lot of different things. And so we try to push them and to bundle them in a way that should be really efficient for Android developers. So we will talk today a lot about that. We are 3 people here. You can see in Paris, in our Paris office, there's 2 people. Say hi, Eyal.
Hi, I'm Eyal. I'm a developer on Genymotion, and I'm also in charge of sometimes the developer relations on the project.
And hi, I'm Antonin, and I'm the Scrum Master of Genymotion.
And myself, I'm Pascal, and I'm the Genymotion Product Manager. We are here for around 1 hour. Our goal is to show you these features and show them around real use cases with some code, some demo of real application. You can to be able to be as near as we can of your typical Android project. If you have any question, because there's a lot of people, it will not be really interactive, but you can ask them in the YouTube comments or even on the Google Plus event we created. Just ask the question. Antonin will take them all, and at the end of the webinar, it will ask them for you, and we will answer them. So back to please, Eyal, can you switch to the next slide again? So there's at first we will talk about Genymotion Tool. Genymotion Tool, it's a command line tool where you can do everything you do today using your mouse in Genymotion. You will be able to automate them using Genymotion Tool. Genymotion Tool, it's a real command line tool that allows you to manage Genymotion on your Genymotion virtual devices. You can change the settings. You can create device, stop device, clone them directly from the command line. This is a wonderful opportunity for everyone that have automation needs around Android virtual devices. But to go further, we also created a Gradle plugin that allows you to do that directly from your build Gradle file. And this is nice for developers that just want to add some tool around instrumented testing. They will be able to define a list of devices directly from their build Gradle file and launch their tests, and all the devices will be downloaded, created, started right before the test in order to test, to run their tests on all the devices they wanted to test them on. We will detail some use cases, and at the end, question and answer will happen. So I am now really happy to let Eyal show all these nice features of Genymotion 2.5, and I really hope you will enjoy our webinar.
Okay, let's start. Just to tell you about 3 things that we will show you today, because Pascal told about Genymotion Tool and the Gradle plugin, but we will also highlight a little bit the Java API. You will see how it can be useful. I mean, that's our Java API. Okay, let's start with Genymotion Tool. GM tool, as Pascal said, it's a command line tool that will allow you to control Genymotion from the command line. A few facts. It's part of Genymotion binaries. It means that since the 2.5.0 version, it's bundled with the Genymotion package. So when you install it, you already have it on your computer. And also it requires to be used fully the business or the indie license. So that's for professionals. When we created GM tool, we worked to try to isolate a few groups of actions that we would like to do with Genymotion, and we divided four main categories. The first is GM tool admin. It allows you to manage your virtual devices, creating, start, delete, etc. Change the configuration sometimes. GM tool device allows you to interact with a started device. GM tool config allows you to configure Genymotion, and you will see that quickly. And license allows you to control your license on some ways. Okay, I will switch to my command line. As you see on the slide, there are some content that we won't show you. But if you get the slide and don't have the video, you will have the full content that we will show you right now on live directly from the slides. So this is my command line. Here is my Genymotion folder, and as you see, there is this new tool which is called GM tool. So I start typing GM tool help to show you the usage of this command line, and you can see on the usage the different categories: so admin, config, device, help, and license. What we would like to do starting using this tool is, for example, configure, because I want to add, for example, my login. So just let's check how it is already configured. GM tool config print, and it shows the list of all the settings. If I would like to change the something, for example, my username, so I want to be called blah blah, and then show to set a different password, I just type GM tool config username equal etc. You get the point. That's really simple. Then what I want to do is create a device, because I probably don't have it for now. So what I want to know before creating a device is what kind of device I can create. And there is a command line for that. It's called GM tool admin templates. So let's enter it. So what you see now is a very long list of all the devices, the kind of devices you can create with Genymotion. That's a little bit hard to read it like this, because that's exhaustive. So let's grab it, and you have all the names. That's still long, right? But we support a lot of devices, so you know that. What I'm doing is I'm pasting one name among the list. That's a Nexus 5 running KitKat. And what I will do is to create a device. So I type GM tool admin create. I pass the template of this device, and I call it Nexus 7 because that's a Nexus 7. So the device is creating. As you've seen, the template is already in cache, so it doesn't need to download it. And if it needs to download, it will do it automatically. So it's created. That's great. Oh, let's get back. So what I want to do now is to check if it's on my list of devices. So I type GM tool admin list. And you can see my Nexus 5 device right here. So now let's start it. Nexus 5. So GM tool admin start Nexus 5. And you see it starting in front of my window. An important point that you can see right here is that all the commands that you are running with Genymotion are blocking. This is really useful if you are scripting, because when you are scripting, you are launching a command. When this command is finished, the action you ask is finished too. So when you are doing a Genymotion admin start, the command line, the standard output will be released only when the action finished. So let's wait a few more seconds. Okay, so as you've seen, the device is started and the command line released. I think you get the point. I will just show you another thing dealing with devices. So let's see what we can do now we have the device started. What we can do when the device is started. I can do, for example, an ADB connect or ADB disconnect. This is sometimes useful when you don't want, when you have several Genymotion devices launched and you don't want them to be on your ADB list. Just or you want to get them back on your list. So you can just control it quickly by using Genymotion. You can also flash a zip on your device. You can install an APK. You can ask to clear the logcat and to dump also the logcat into a local file. Let's do this. And what you can do also is to pull and push files from and to your devices. So let's dump my logcat into my cat.cat file. So I type Genymotion device logcat dump and the name of the file. And we're all set. We can just display this logcat. You see, that's very long. And we're good. So let's close this device. As you see, the icon is right here. And what we can do to close the device is to get back to the admin. Genymotion admin, stop my Nexus 7, please. And it do it right away. What you can do then is to delete this device, delete Nexus 5, and it's deleted. That's very simple. There are a lot of things to do. The best thing for you now is to just look at the documentation, look at what are your needs and what you can do using this kind of tool. We will enrich it a lot. There is a big roadmap for Genymotion and all our unit test related tools. So don't hesitate to just look at the documentation and give us feedback about your specific needs on this point. So I switch back to the slides. Let's pass this Genymotion thing. Okay, so let's talk about the other tool we wanted to present you, the Gradle plugin. What the Gradle plugin do, it allows you to control your Genymotion devices from your build.gradle. It is based on Genymotion. And what you can do concretely, really with it, is to create and customize your devices. When you define your devices, they will be automatically launched when your specific Gradle test tasks are running. So they will be created, configured, start, configured again if it's needed, and then available to host your instrumentation tests. Let's see how you can add this Gradle plugin to your boot.gradle. So because that's a Gradle plugin, you need to declare the repository into the build script, block of your boot.gradle. So build script, repositories, and the repositories gcenter. That's very standard for this kind of tool. Then you apply the Genymotion plugin, and then you define your devices. So let's see what I've done right here is that I open the block Genymotion.devices, I created a device which is called Nexus 5, and I defined for this Nexus 5 named device the Nexus 5 with KitKat template. And in 2 lines, I declared a Genymotion device that will be run automatically before my tests are running. Down, I declared a Nexus 7 also to give you an example about how to use spaces for your device. So I have 2 devices declared in 4 lines. That's really, really simple, directly in my build.quadro. But sometimes you have specific needs and you want something more complex. So let's see some part of the thing that you can do with your build.quadro. Here is the Nexus 10, defining a Nexus 10 that's 4.3 template right here. And what I want to do is to change the screen density of this Nexus 10. So I take the Nexus 10 template and I customize it depending, because I have a very specific device to support that looks like a Nexus 10 and I want to change it a little bit. So I changed the density, I changed the width and height. And also, I said that he has a virtual keyboard, like many devices, right? What I want to do also is to flash, because I have something to add into the system. I want also to install an APK, but I could install several. If my application, when it's running, needs some very specific third-party apps, you can just define the path to the list of the APK you want to see installed before your tests are installed and run. You can also define files that will be pushed and pulled before and after for the both the test for your device. You can also ask for logcat to be dumped after your test, and we also support build flavors. So yes. Let's go back. Yeah, there are a lot of things to do with it, and we support build flavors. I will try to give you a quick example about how we support the build flavors just right after, a little bit later in this presentation. As you see, there are others options. There are really more options. I really advise to look at the tutorial and the documentation of this of the Gradle plugin, because there are many things to do with it. Okay, so we finished to show you quickly what are the tools we released on one of the last version. And we wanted to tell you about 2 use cases that we know are very, very important right now for Android developers, and to try to give you a few information about how we are considering it and how we could try sometimes to help you on this topic. First, the test in Android. There are many kind of way to do tests. There are many tests that you can do when you are developing an Android application. You have unit tests, you have functional tests, you have tests that you are more or less mocking the framework at different level. And what we've done when we wanted to tackle this problem as an editor was, first, as many developers have to do, read the Google's Android documentation. And there is this page, which is called What to Test in Android. The link is on the speaker note, so if you have the slide, you will be able just to click on it. And here is what Google said, what we should test on Android applications. So your application should be tested on different kind of orientations. When the orientation changes, you need to look after it, to check if your application is behaving well. When also the keyboard or the system language is different, Google wants you to test your app on this kind of environment. And also when the battery life is different, sometimes you need, and Google asks you for testing it. And when external resources are changing, for example, network access, sometimes the network is very good, sometimes it's very bad, sometimes it does not exist, sometimes it says that it exists, but it doesn't exist. There are many cases on network access, and we know that sometimes it's tricky. So that's something you should test, because that's a big part of the robustness of your app. And depending on your GPS position, depending on several events like phone calls or SMS, that are arriving, or Bluetooth that are sent to the device. There are many, many, many things to test, and that's the thing Google advises you to test for your app. That was a long list, but there are so much things to do. And analyzing this information that we found quite relevant, we really considered that we had something to bring on it. And mostly because all these are related to instrumentation tests. An instrumentation test is a test that is running on a running device with an environment for your app. It means that the system behaves differently depending on several events, depending on configurations. And as we provide an OS, actually we provide 6 or 7 versions of Android OS, we were very on a good place, on a good location to help you doing better, improve your tests, and improve the coverage and the power of your tests and the robustness of your app. So what we decided to work on is a Java API. It had been released several months ago, maybe more. Let's see what we put for now in this Java API, giving you a few examples about what you could do into your test and how it could help. So through the Java API that you will run, that you can use inside your Java code into your unit test, you are able to control the battery on many ways: the level, the weights plugged, etc. The GPS position also on many settings. The Android ID, the radio. The radio means that you can control the EME. You can control also phone events or text events that can appear. And also the network. For the network, you can select different kind of profiles. For example, the Wi-Fi is a very good connection. There is no kind of limitation. Or the 4G, the 3G, the Edge, or no connection at all. And on this kind of, on these different profiles, what you can do is, what we play with is the bandwidth, the packet loss, and the DNS delay. So there are different kind of profiles, and you can just switch. And for example, how you can use the network API on your application is that if you have a local library that is loading content onto the web and doing specific things, you can just check, depending on the network profile, if your library is behaving on a good way, the way you expect. Depending if you are in the metro, for example, the application can be some kind of laggy. You can be sure that your application will be robust even if the network is really ugly. So that's one of the examples, but you can imagine, for example, with the GPS, if your application is really located, you need the GPS position, and the interface needs to be changed or modified a little bit depending on the position. The battery also. I will. Let's talk about the battery then, I think. I do this. Okay. So how we consider the Java API. It is dedicated to Android test in Genymotion. So you will add it to your test dependencies. And an important point also is that all, like in Genymotion Tool, all the calls are blocking. So when you are setting the GPS position at the beginning of your tests, you can be sure when you release the method setting the GPS position that the whole system knows that this GPS position is the one you choose, you set right before. So your whole application will behave like the whole system is aware about this setting. And what you can do basically is that you can change the real system state. And that's really important because that allows you to have less mocks to simulate that the system is different, because you are modifying the system from your tests before running your logical assertion. Okay, this is a bit to the Java API documentation. All the things we told are on genymotion.com/devzone or something like this. Okay, let's see how you can use now the Java API. So here is the Brewdog model. You add a repository, this URL, and on your dependencies, you have your Android test compile dependency referring to the Genymotion Java API. Here is a very small instrumentation test case. It's called test SMS reception. And I will show you very quickly on a very simple way how you can implement, how you can use the Java API. So first, what I do in this test is that I check if the test is running on the Genymotion device. Of course, the Java API is linked to the Genymotion Android framework. It means that there are no endpoints for the things that are not related to Genymotion. So just check that you are on Genymotion device and avoid these tests if you are not. Then you get the Genymotion manager providing a simple context. You get the radio, and then you have to send an SMS giving the number and the message you want to receive on the phone at this moment. And right at this moment, everything is blocking until the SMS is received by the system. And then what you can do is any tests, any UI tests you want, or any controller tests you want, right from your instrumentation test. Okay. Before talking about the use case number 2, which is related to continuous integration, I will switch to Android Studio to show you a project that is called Binacle. It's open source. I think we will add, Pascal, the URL to Binacle to the slides. And it shows you how to use the Java API. Actually, that's a sample for the Java API. And so it's building. If you are running a Gradle task, you will run all your tests on Genymotion devices, of course, because other devices does not implement this kind of features or API. And what I've done here, on a very simple way, I added the Genymotion Gradle plugin into this project. So what I've done, I added the gcenter you've seen, I applied the Genymotion plugin, and let me check something. Very good. Very good. And what I've done also is that I defined these two devices, a Nexus 5 running Lollipop, and another device called my Nexus 7, which is a Nexus 7 device, which is limited to one flavor only. Let's look at just the code here. We defined 2 flavors on this project. We also asked for the Nexus 7 to dump the logcat into a temp directory that you can see here. And also we asked to clear the logcat after the boot. It means when you enable this option, it will ask to the device when it finished boot to clear the log. It means that all the content of the log that you will find on the file are related to your test run. Okay, so what we can do now is to launch the Gradle task, the connected Android tests. I launch it, and because it's quite long, we will tell a little bit around this project and how it is implemented. So as I told you, there are two flavors, and when you are running collecting Android tests, it will build each flavor of your project and run the test on each of your flavors. Just to let you know. So what you will see, so there are already one device that is created, the Nexus 5. That's the build flavor 1. And that's the only device that will be launched, because for this Nexus, actually my Nexus 7 is only related to flavor 2. And that's the reason why there is only Nexus 5 that is running right now. So there will be two benches of tests that will be run with during this execution. Now let's switch to one other example, so you will have another example of how you can change the system. That's for the battery. So what you've seen is that we get the Genymotion manager, then we get the battery, and then we set the level, that's 100, and the status, that is charging. Then there are iterations to test if the UI is behaving on a good way. And you have other tests then to change the battery to something very low, discharging, and check if something happens also. So let's see. Right now, yeah, you see the UI is changing because the tests are running. I think you get the point. We are running only our first flavor, so we can just let this run on its own side, on its own side, and continue to tell about continuous integration. Okay, so continuous integration is a big topic right now, and actually that's a real evolvement made the last years on the Android development to bring it to a real industrial and professional environment and behavior. What we will give you during this part is a few information about how to do it simply. It takes all the information from a blog post that have already been published. So you can just read also these slides or the blog post to have more information. First, what you need to run your Android tests into Genymotion devices controlled by your CI. First is a hardware and an OS that is able to run Genymotion. This is very simple. To have it, you need a minimum OpenGL 2.0 and a few hardware things, but this is very common. And an important point: it's an X server on your computer. That's for many technical reasons. The main is that we are accelerating all the Android UI, so we need an access to the GPU, and this can be done only if you have an X server. If you are using a Mac or a Windows, they have an X server, so that's not a question. The real question is if you are using a small CI running only command line OS on Linux, it can be a question. And that's something you can easily solve. But we will see that just a little bit later. So what you really need on the project side and not on the infrastructure side for to be able to use Genymotion on your CI is first to use one of the last releases, so the 2.5.0 release Genymotion using GM Tool. So that's the one you need to install on your on the device that will run your tests. And a big advice to make it very easy for you is to use the Gradle plugin, because if you are supposedly already using Gradle on your CI, and it will be very easy to control all the things from your build.gradle directly. And you also already have the instruction for all this. And what I will show you, let's switch to a real Jenkins. So here it is. This is the configuration panel of a Jenkins. And actually, what you can do first, sorry, I go back. What you need is to add your project into your Jenkins, and then you run your project running, connecting with Android test or any Gradle task you want on your CI. If your CI is running and is able to run Genymotion in a good way, hardwarely speaking, and you want it to run, you have nothing to do more than building your project right on your Jenkins. It will be able to do. That's really related to Android. There is nothing specific. But as I told you, sometimes you want something without a UI. That's how we work at Genymobile, for example. Our Jenkins is running on a Docker. So there is no real UI, and the hardware is not done for that. So we are delegating all the instrumentation tests to what Jenkins calls a node or a slave, or I like to call it a boat. That's a computer or some computer on your network that you can access from Jenkins to ask them.
Zoom a little bit.
Oh, you want to zoom? I will change. So anyway, we'll switch. So you need one or several computers that are on your network that your Jenkins can control. And you will see how you can configure it. We will see it together. So let's switch to my Jenkins management. I click on Manage Nodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think it could be possible to zoom in a bit?
So you don't read at all. Okay, let's do it. Sorry for that, guys. I hope it's good now.
Thanks. Very well.
Okay, so now I'm on my dashboard of nodes. If you have no nodes, you need to click on New Node here. What you will need is to dump a dump slave. It's a little bit strange name, but just select dump slave, type a name, the thing you want, and then you go back. And you click OK, and you will arrive on this kind of, you will arrive on this kind of page. So this is my demo boat, the one I mounted for this demo. So it's called demo boat. That's a CI server for Genymotion instrumented tests. I need to set the root directory. That's very, very simple setup. And what I decide to is that my Jenkins will communicate with this boat through SSH. So this is the local IP, and the credentials that I created for a demo boat. And what I have to do now is, because this boat is running Linux. That's something you don't need to do for Windows and Mac OSs. But this display environment variable, you need to declare it, and most of the time you need to declare it as the value need to be :0. What this environment variable is doing, when you are opening an SSH connection to a Linux computer, it is looking for an output for all the UI thing. By default, when you open an SSH connection, it will ask for something mocked. If you set the display environment variable to a specific value, by default, the first X server, X client that is running is :0. So most of the time, this value will be :0 for you. You will be able to open Genymotion and to let Genymotion access to all the GPU thing I told you about before. So what you should do if you are using a Linux boat, choosing the display variable, is to just go in front of this computer, open a terminal, type echo $display, and it will show you a value, most of the time that :0. But if you are playing sometimes with your graphic drivers or on some very exotic configuration or Linux version, you can have another value or another format. But most of the time is a column 0. That's our case. I also exported Android Home. It's kind of useful depending on your setup. So I save it. And what I need to do now on my project side, so this is my project, my Binacle project, the one you've seen running just before, is to check a small thing, restrict where this project can be run. And there is this field where you start typing the name of the slave you defined before, and it's called demo boat. And when it's done, you just save it, and then you can run it. So the voice is not really ready because there are an SDK version problem that I didn't update before the demo, but never mind. Now you know that your build will be able to run on your node, and you can have many nodes. So let's back to the slide. So we keep all this information on one slide if you want to get it, and there is also an article about that is explaining what I said to you already. I finished to show you all the things we wanted to show you, so I let Pascal continue the talk.
Thank you, Eyal. Well done. Many people are trying to run Genymotion using Jenkins and other CI servers, so it's really nice to see it on screen working. You can get all the slides we've seen, and we've put link in the slide to our documentation or article and blog post. You can get the slide at this URL, so it's like a screenshot time, or just if you have a photographic memory, it should be really easy for you to remember the URL. You will get the slide with all the resources linked on it. On the next slide, Eyal, please. You will have the link to the documentation of GM Tool. It's on our website. You can find it easily there on the dev zone. A tutorial on how to use the Gradle plugin, a blog post detailing all the steps required, like Eyal shown us to run Genymotion on Jenkins. And this very webinar, the video will be recorded, and the link will be updated there, so you will be able to see it again if you missed something and want to see it again.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing quickly. That's the Genymobile blog that we are now really investing, trying to put interesting content in it. For example, the Genymotion and Jenkins blog post is on this blog, and several are already planned to be. Several posts are already planned to be published. The last one was quite interesting and not really related to Genymotion, and that's really our idea, to bring interesting content, just right because we like it. That was about from one of our system developer that used Docker to build his AOSP Android open source project source code, and he shows how he's using this technology to do it on an easy way. So there will be a lot of content that we really want to publish on it, and the URL that I really advise you to follow is blog.genymobile.com. I think we will add it to the slide later.
Thank you, Eyal. You're right. There's a lot of Android experts in Genymobile, and we really want to use this blog to provide good content to everyone interested in Android topics. I want to thank you all. This is wrapping up our webinar. We will have a question and answer right after that. If you have any feedback about this very feature, the Gradle plugin, the GM tool, or even Genymotion in general, please send it and discuss with us. We are always happy to have feedback or to have information about maybe some bug that that you should find or some feature that you want to see in the product, it really helps prioritize and evolve our roadmap. So please get in touch using Twitter, Google Plus, or even using our contact form on our website. And also at the end of the month, there is a New York DroidCon. If you're around, we will be really happy to meet because some people from Genymobile will be there. We have a conference and a booth. So please, if you're around New York at the end of the month, we'll be really happy to meet you and discuss a bit with you. It will be really nice. And we will now talk about question and answer. So, Antonin, I guess as there is some question on the YouTube or the Google Plus event. It is no time.
There is some. The first question for you, Eyal, is about the annotation in Genymotion Java API. You know, for example, in Unit, you can add annotation in your test, like required device to run test only in a real physical device. Is there other annotation for Genymotion, like a Genymotion device?
Yes, actually, you can ask it to Pascal because he worked on it. Pascal, am I right if I say that there are annotation to sort it out depending on the Genymotion version?
If we want to provide specific annotation, we need to add them, but that's something we should be able to do.
Okay. So we should be able to add it to the Java API. It's a good idea. We start working on it, but it's not yet ready. It's not a big deal. So it's a very good question. Another question is the GM tool on the Gradle plugin, everything available for the free version of Genymotion? Pascal?
Thanks. No, it is not. We wanted this feature. These features are mainly for professional usage, even if I can understand that some people are doing instrumented tests for personal use. These are really professional feature. This is why they are only on the business or indie version. But even if you have an indie version, you will be able to get the Gradle plugin on the GM tool to do some automation.
Okay, thank you. Another question is about to run different instrumented tests on different device simultaneously to shorten, of course, the running time tests.
Yes, this is possible. Everything that works with real devices always works with Genymotion because Genymotion is like 100% compliant with AOSP. We work really hard on that. And it is seen by ADB as a real devices. So you've got some library to do that. We don't provide this feature, but you can find some library that does that, and Genymotion will work with that. So you will be able to create 10 devices, and you have 100 instrumented tests, and you will be able to run 10 of them on the first device, 10 of them on the second device, etc., to shorten the runtime.
Yeah. For example, Yelp gave a conference about that. I think I may be very wrong, but I think they patched Spoon to do something like this. Basically, Genymotion allows you to do that because it can be part of it, but it's not our real value because that's really related to something that is really not dedicated to the Android OS. But like any device, Genymotion can be part of this kind of infrastructure, but we don't provide a framework to do it. And I think there are two ways also. I think Facebook is also providing this kind of bulking testing.
Foursquare showing.
Or maybe Foursquare, you're right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, another
I
question.
was saying that Genymotion was really AOSP compliant. Not a lot of people know that, but we run the Android CTS tests regularly,
Every day.
actually every night on Android builds, and our score is really good, sometimes even better than on real devices. So right now we are pretty happy with the fact that we are providing real standard Android device to developers.
Yeah, the CTS is now for Lollipop 100,000 tests run on real devices, and that's the way for Google to admit, to certify that a device is behaving on a good Android device. And that's really the reason why we worked a lot to be compliant with it and to pass and to have actually scores sometimes better than some Nexus devices.
Okay, there is other question. So the question is about the network quality. There is a widget about network quality. You can change your Genymotion device the network quality to test a different kind of network. And can you run the same instrumental test with different network? Like you test it with a bad network, then retest it with a better network, see what happens?
Basically, that's what the Java API allows you to implement. That's really something you can do easily.
Okay. So
Actually, our Java API is probably the only way to do it. You will have to run 2 or 3 different instrumental tests, but at the end it's the same source code, so it's easy to manage that to you. You just need to at first, using our API, change the network quality before running it. You package the test on another one.
okay, so that's all for me. I think we're good.
Great.
That's really great.
Exactly 1 hour.
Perfect timing.
Good time box. That's my job. That's awesome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We are really hoping you enjoyed. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to interact with us, Google+, Twitter, our website. We'll be really happy to hear your feedback. And if you have any problem with the feature, we'll be really happy to discuss on how to use them, or maybe find ways to make it better fit Android developers' workflow. Thank you all.
Goodbye.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.